Hello and welcome to this video on the Management Case Study Strategic Analysis. This is for the May 2017 Management Case Study exam featuring BES. My name is Richard Lewis. I'm your MCS tutor here at Astranti and I'm going to take you through this pack. So the Management Case Study exam is all about the value retail industry this time around. Now this is a familiar industry for many of us, I imagine. We've probably seen the shops on the high street, those shops where everything costs £1 or $1, but I'm sure not so many of us know the workings of the industry behind it. So we're going to be dealing with a company called BES. BES is a large, well-established company based in country E. Okay, it has significant revenues but slim margins, and it does face many challenges in its day-to-day operations and its long-term outlook. So it's a very interesting business for us to analyse. Let's get into it. We're going to be using the rational planning model as our basis for the analysis, and if you need a reminder on any of the theories that we're about to look at, you can have a check in our MCS study text part 2 that summarises all the key relevant models for the MCS from E2, F2 and P2. Now it's all about getting from now all the way to the future mission and objectives. Okay, and the various ways that we do this. We first of all have to analyse where we are now using models like Pestel, Porter's 5 forces, Porter's value chain and SWOT analysis. And then we have various ways to get towards our mission and our objectives. We will use generic strategies. We might use Ansof's matrix to plot growth strategies and so forth. And then lastly, we need to consider who our stakeholders are, who we're in business for, and who we're answerable to. And we also need to consider how we are governing ourselves and how ethically we're doing so. So, very little point in setting out on a journey if you don't know where you want to get to. So the first stage of analysis is to make sure that we fully understand where the organisation is heading or where it wants to head. We also need to look at its approach to meeting the needs of its various stakeholders. Okay, good place to start is what BES is all about. Why does it exist? Who does it exist for? And what's it trying to achieve? And we can find this within the company's own strategic objectives, its mission statement and value statements. Okay. When we look at BES's own policies, which you can find on page 16 of the pre-scene, you can find that these have been largely set out for us. So their purpose is to put a smile on their customers' faces, and they're going to do this by offering the very best value. That's what they hope to achieve long term. The way they're going to get this done is by offering the widest range of discounted goods. If you look at the kinds of retailers that BES competes with, most of them offer a more limited range of discounted goods. When it comes to values, BES values integrity, honesty and respect for differences, which might make it a good kind of company to expand overseas into different cultures. And then when it comes to policies, it's the kind of company that likes to reward success, both at an individual and a team level. So the implication is it'd be quite a good place to work, because if you worked hard at shop floor level, you might soon find yourself in management. So that is what BES is all about. Now, when it comes to measuring its performance, we're not given very specific objectives to measure against. We're given some very general targets to grow market share, to build reputation for fantastic value, and to enhance growth, but these can't really be measured. These are just general aims and objectives. So what we would look out for is for something more specific to be given to us during the exam. If they don't, then this may well be a weakness in the company's planning approach if they don't have very specific targets. Okay. So my thought was the balanced scorecard could actually work quite well for BES. There's very little evidence of robust non-financial performance measurement in the case materials that we're given. So next we come to corporate governance. When we talk about governance, we're talking about the way in which organisations are directed, administered and controlled. Okay, the idea is to ensure that the organisation is run in a way that is right for all stakeholders, in particular the shareholders, but right for all stakeholders. Okay, according to the UK Code of Corporate Governance, good governance is going to include separate chairman and CEO, so you've got some checks and balances, independent non-executive directors. You want to see an audit committee as well as a nomination and remuneration committees who are basically going to ensure that people are not awarding themselves massive salaries and super jobs. You want to see a risk management focus. You want to see good disclosures of directors and their pay, as well as correct financial reporting and control. Okay, various other aspects of governance include information for directors to help them make good decisions. We'd like to see all directors involved in decision making, not some autocratic system, and we'd like to see regular meetings with the important shareholders, and they might use the AGM to do that. So when we apply all of that to our case company, what do we find? Well, we do find we've got a full set of non-executive directors, so that's definitely good practice under the combined code. We don't see any mention of the remuneration, audit or nomination committees. Hopefully we'll hear about that in the unseen part. If not, then that would be a weakness, something to look out for. We didn't see much really in the case study about other key governance issues. Okay, it's a listed company, so they should conform to governance requirements, and my guess is they probably do. But in the exam, be on the lookout for any weaknesses. Okay, these might come along in areas around disclosures of directors and their pay, financial reporting and the control of that, information for directors. Regular meetings with the institutional shareholders, and good use of the AGM. Okay, look out for that sort of thing. Next we want to look at corporate social responsibility and ethics. Okay, now this is an area that we know that ethics is very important to BES. They've mentioned it in their value statements, and corporate social responsibility should be very important to BES. The organised retail industry is strong on CSR in general. Okay, so my feeling is, as an industry analyst, is that BES, as part of the retail industry, would want to be at least up there with its competitors in terms of what it's doing. So you should be considering the impact of all stakeholders in your recommendations that you make in the exam. Okay, specifically when it comes to CSR, we want to be including environmental issues. So look out for reduced energy consumption, any way to get energy consumption down, whether it's by an energy audit or not, any way to reduce pollution. Is it environmentally sustainable in the way that it sources materials, or are its suppliers, are its products recyclable? Okay, anything around that is potentially quite important. When it comes to staff, look around the way staff are treated. Okay, we don't know anything about what staff get paid at BES. We don't know whether they're unionised, but do have a look out for staffing issues, especially with upstream suppliers. If they're sourcing from abroad in factories in very low-cost countries, be on the lookout for exploitative worker conditions, anything like that that might harm its ethical reputation. When it comes to the wider community, there's nothing specific in the pre-scene to suggest that the company is of benefit to the wider community, except of course that a low-cost retailer does help people to get by in straitened times. So if the economy is poor in country E, then they're going to be of benefit to the community by providing low-cost items, and if they are growing, they're going to be of benefit to the community by offering employment. So if the economy is really bad, then those are two very good plus points for the local community. All right, and then lastly, look out for business practices, make sure these are responsible. Supplier auditing, I feel, is particularly important there. They need to be on top of what their suppliers are doing. It's no good saying we have strong values ethically, but all the people that we buy from imprison people in the factories and force them to work 24 hours a day. That's no good, is it? So be on the lookout for that sort of thing. Next on the list, when we consider where BES is going, we need to look at critical success factors. Okay, I'm not going to run through all of these each time. I'm going to give you enough time to pause the screen if you want to read these slides, as really it's just going over material that you already have learnt, and we're going to move on each time to apply it to the case study. So we know what critical success factors are. These are the key things your organisation must do well to succeed. So when we apply these to the case company, we might be able to put together a list of critical success factors like this. Cost, of course, it's a cost leadership business, so cost reduction is a critical success factor. Supply chain, this is a company that sources from abroad and has to do so incredibly cheaply and efficiently if it's going to maintain any margin at all. The supply chain is a core competency, and this applies even if it's outsourced, even if logistics are outsourced, for example. It's still absolutely vital to success. Brand and reputation, I think, is a critical success factor. Customers need to trust this company to provide good quality goods at very low cost. I think that the range that they can source is a critical success factor, because the model is based on getting people to make multiple impulse buys while they're in store, and so having a wide range is critical to this mission. Market share, of course, this is a volume business. There's not a margin business, it's a volume business. They need to make lots of sales to make money. So more means more. They need as much market share as they can. And then lastly, but not leastly, friendly and helpful staff. So customers retain a good experience when they go into the shop and they come back, where they can then be sold more impulse buys. Now, just before I go, let me remind you that this is not the end of it. We do offer a full range of support materials, including the study text and other course videos. We do the industry analysis, where we look at the real world industry that your case study is based on. We do mock exams around the case study exam, and we offer marking, feedback and masterclasses, all of which are covered by the Astranti Pass guarantee. So I'll see you in the next video.